Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on October 28th. First and foremost, I would like to apologize. You guys know I like doing these podcasts live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel, as well as Twitch, TikTok, Twitter. Everywhere you can go live, we are live 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday to do these podcasts. Unfortunately, last night, I had basketball practice for my IRL league, and I didn't get to watch most of these games live last night. So this morning, I had to watch all the condensed versions of each game just so that we can do this pod. In today's pod, we're going to be talking about my three personal favorite games from last night, talk about the importance behind them. Then I want to, briefly recap all the other games because we had a big slate of games last night, being 11 total games. And then to finish this podcast off today, I want to discuss what's going on in the NBA as far as scoring goes. Is this something that we're going to see consistent? I want to talk about it because this season has been absolutely nuts when it comes to these high scoring games. Yeah, guys, before we get started with the actual meat of this pod, be sure if you guys are podcast listeners on Spotify or Apple, be sure to leave a 5-star review and rating down below. It really, really, really helps out. So please do me a solid and do that. And for all of my watchers on the YouTube, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the platforms. All the links you need will be down below in the show notes. Now, let's get started with the very first game that I want to talk about, which was my personal favorite game that I watched last night. It was the Spurs defeating the Raptors 121-101. There's a couple reasons why I want to talk about this game. One of them being the Toronto Raptors are looking about exactly what I predicted. The fans and analysts weren't saying a single thing about the Toronto Raptors as far as what they're going to be prolific at, whether it's offense or defense. They said it themselves. The front office, the coaches, the staff of the Toronto Raptors said that this team is going to be predominantly a defensive-minded team. They have not looked it so far. In fact, they have looked so bad defensively that if they hadn't said that this would be defensive focus, we would still be talking about it. I don't know what's going on with this team, but they cannot defend a lick of offense. I mean, it sort of starts with their very, very high paid player that they paid this summer in Jakob Poeltl, shooting 1 for 6 last night with a -9. He had 4 turnovers. All I know is Toronto fans are punching air right now because this is not what they envisioned. Their defense is given up. I think they're a bottom 3 team defensively this season, which is just ridiculous because when you look at this team up and down, you would think the one thing they're good at, I guess 2 things, is ISO ball and defense. They're getting a high number of assists. I think they're averaging about 29 or 30 assists per game. But I don't know what's going on with this team. Obviously, Brandon Ingram didn't look great last night. Scotty Barnes didn't look good last night. Jakob Poeltl was awful. RJ Barrett, the player that was most people were talking about they need to trade and figure out whether or not he fits with the team, has been their best performer this season so far. He shot 9 for 18, 25 points, with Emmanuel quickly as well. Being as paid as much as he is, that contract is looking worse and worse every day. This team played absolutely horrible last night. And I don't know, if you watch a lot of these games, just to mention one, the Pistons versus Cavaliers last night, which we'll brief on. We're not going to talk extensively about that. There's really not much to talk about. When you see some of these teams like the Orlando Magic, who we're going to talk about, when you see teams like the Hawks, you could see that these teams have some growing pains. They got to ink out the chemistry. They got to figure stuff out between the team. The Toronto Raptors are one of these teams where I feel like I won't see heavily improve this season. The Magic, sure, you can say, yeah, once they start moving the ball a little bit more, once they can actually start hitting threes, once they gain some more chemistry, they got out of shooting slumps, you could see them getting better, as well as the Hawks. But the Toronto Raptors, I had them in my tier 3 of the East. I would have contenders being the Cavaliers. I talked about this in a previous pod. I would have the Cavaliers and Knicks in their own category in the S tier. And then A tier, I'd have the Pistons, the Magic, the Hawks, and then everyone underneath with the Pacers, Celtics. We had the Celtics way higher than what they are looking like now. At least they got their first win last night. The Toronto Raptors, I had them in the group of the Pistons and Magic and Hawks, and I think a lot of other people did too, based off of their salary. It's so high, yet they just don't look good. They don't look like a cohesive unit. They look horrible on defense when they said that that was going to be their main identity. The Toronto Raptors are very perplexing to me. And talking about a team that I think none of us could have expected is the San Antonio Spurs. We all thought that Wemby would make a leap going into this year. But we didn't think about the team that he had around him. The whole focus was on Wemby. The entire focus was on Victor Wembanyama. Last night, he shot 7 for 8 with only 1 block. He still had a double-double with 24 points and 15 rebounds. But he's not even the main focus. They had 6 players score double digits last night. Who are they? Harrison Barnes, 18. Victor Wembanyama, 24. Devin Vassell, 15. Stephon Castle, 22. Keldon Johnson, 10. Dylan Harper, 11. This team, once they mature, once they develop, and then obviously they still have De'Aaron Fox. Listen, they have a lot of talent right now. They're a very young team, and they have a lot of talent. A lot of people are saying, let's just trade De'Aaron Fox, and I don't see that. They still have Jeremy Sohan. They still have De'Aaron Fox. Luke Cornett didn't even play last night. I think he was sick or he was hurt or something. He'll be fine. But like, you would think when you saw Luke Cornett wasn't playing that this was going to be a tight matchup, if not the Toronto winning this game. And it was the complete opposite. They only lost by 20, but I assure you it was not that close all game. The Toronto Raptors are a very perplexing team, but the Spurs are perplexing in a positive way. I don't think that they initially thought that they'd be having this jump from Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell. Even Julian Champagny has looked, I mentioned him in yesterday's pod. He's looked absolutely incredible. Harrison Barnes is always going to be a steady vet, shooting 6 for 7 last night. He had an off shooting night the night before, but sort of like vets on like younger teams, like a Tobias Harris on the Pistons. Like you always need a steady, smooth vet, right? This game, they had Bismack Biyombo play 14 and a half minutes, primarily because of Luke Cornett was out, and they still smacked the Toronto Raptors. I'm not sure what the Raptors are doing, and I'm not sure what this team is going to look like here towards as the season starts progressing. Now, again, it's still early. It's just 4 games, but man, it's a weird experience for the Toronto Raptors fan base. As far as Wembanyama goes, this dude is just absolutely ridiculous. I cannot think of a player I've ever seen quite like him. I posted a short yesterday talking about how we need to enjoy watching Victor Wembanyama right now, because once the floodgates open, once he becomes somewhat successful, winning MVPs, getting a lot of foul calls, a lot of free throw attempts, winning championships, the tide is going to shift. The tide is absolutely going to shift. And, the live crew, like you guys who watch these podcasts live, you all agreed with me. This happens with every star. LeBron, Michael Jordan. It happened with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander most recently a couple of years ago. Hell, it happens in every sport. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Wayne Gretzky. Look at Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. All of these players, once they become that upper echelon of an athlete in their specific sport, everyone starts turning against them. I had a comment mention that it's not going to happen with Wembanyama because he's a unicorn. He's different. It's like, yes, it's still going to happen. It happens in every sport. Once somebody gets a little bit of success, the tide shifts and everyone changes their mind on them and starts being critical of them. Enjoy this while we got it, because Wembanyama has been, if the MVP voting were today, let's think about this real quick. If the MVP voting happened today, it's between Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, undisputed. And I think Wembanyama would pull it out with how incredible he's been. And that's not to discredit Shai whatsoever. It's just he's been that good. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to be talking about the Spurs a lot. They moved on to 4-0. So I don't want to dive too deep into them because I feel like we are talking about them often. So, like, what's new? What's new that I could say? Now, something new that I could say about a couple teams here. The next game up, I had the 76ers defeating the Magic 136-124. Remember when I said a couple days ago that the Magic are going to be a top 3 defense team no matter what? Last night, they did not show that whatsoever. The Orlando Magic they're not just shooting threes poorly, but they're really not attempting threes. They are at the bottom of the league in attempted threes, and they're at the bottom of the league at threes made and attempted. Last night was a decent game all around for the Magic, and yet they still lost to the 76ers. Franz Wagner had his best game of the season, 8 for 12. Paulo Banchero, 10 for 18 with 32 points. Wendell Carter Jr., 4 for 11. He just cannot get a rhythm going. Desmond Bane had his best game of the season, getting 24 points on 10 for 17 shooting. But what's stopping them is they are just not hitting enough threes, let alone attempting. Their defense was abysmal this game. They could not stop the 76ers. And part of the reason being is the 76ers are surprising all of us. They look so good. Like, where's Paul George and where's Joel Embiid? Obviously, they're still expecting them to return. But where do they come into this? Paul George said last year was his worst season of all time, and we all agree. Same with Joel Embiid. They just can't stay healthy. When you look at up and down this team, Kelly Oubre Jr., 25 points, right? VJ Edgecombe, the rookie of the year right now. If voting were today, the rookie of the year, 10 for 17 shooting, 50% from deep, dropping 26 points. Tyrese Maxey taking 32 shots and hitting 15 of them with 43 points. Another 43-point game. Andre Drummond was very serviceable last night. He got his 6 rebounds in 22 minutes. This team all around, with its veterans, they are looking great. Honestly, 76ers fans, I know you guys have a lot of money tied to players that aren't playing. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get off of that Paul George contract. Maybe a contender would want to pick up that contract if they see that he returns and starts looking like Paul George. But I don't think, I mean, on top of this, they still don't have Jared McCain. This team is so guard-oriented, I don't know what it's going to look like. You know, they have Tyrese Maxey, they have VJ Edgecombe. Once Jared McCain returns, like this team is incredible. Some of the best guards in the game right now. I mean, VJ Edgecombe, this guy's confidence is like leaking through the TV screen. If you guys have not watched the 76ers live yet, they're a very fun team to watch. They're playing fast. They're playing at their own pace. Like their half-court offense is decent, but their fast break potential is incredible. I mean, they hit 14 threes last night to the Magic's 8. So the 76ers are, I mean, none of us expected that they'd be doing this right now. Now, whether or not this is sustainable, I'm still unsure of. I feel like if they go up against a team that actually has good perimeter defense, which we thought the Magic did, they might struggle. But right now, they're a very fun watch. I mean, this kid, VJ Edgecombe, I can't get enough of him. I keep getting these TikTok edits on my For You page about him at draft night saying that he lived for 7 years on a generator and that his mom gave everything so that he could have everything. This is incredible. It's a truly awesome story. And to see him doing this when all of the attention was on Cooper Flagg, who shot 1 for 9 last night, which we'll talk about. This kid's dropping 26 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He's playing incredible offensively and defensively. I'll tell you what, this guy was being scouted as a hyper athletic guard. He didn't have the potential to shoot yet. And he's coming out and he's shooting. He's taking a lot of jumpers and they're falling. And the fact is that he has this confidence right now. I think it's a blessing. It's bittersweet because had Paul George been in the lineup, had Joel Embiid been in the lineup, had Jared McCain been in the lineup, this kid probably would be averaging about 18 to 20 minutes per game. If that. The fact that he's playing 40 minutes, this is a blessing in disguise, y'all. What we're seeing out of this rookie, it looks like a veteran. Seriously, if you have not watched this team, and that's on top of having Quentin Grimes. He was getting a lot of hype this summer. And he's getting more, this rookie is getting more minutes than a Quentin Grimes, which is insane. I'm low-key I'm not a 76ers fan, but I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan. We all love Tyrese Maxey. We all love VJ Edgecombe. We all really love Kelly Oubre, if you know what I'm saying. I think Joel Embiid and Paul George being out, as well as Jared McCain, has allowed this kid to shine so much more than we all initially thought. I think he worked on his game extensively this summer, and he gained a lot of confidence. 76ers are a fun watch, but I think it does need to go a little bit beyond. Are the 76ers like just really good and entertaining, or are, you know, the Magic that bad? You know, it's tough. It's very tough because the Magic were projected to be a top 3 seed in the East this summer, and I didn't understand why. They had the Magic with just acquiring Desmond Bane above the Pistons, right? They had him above the Raptors, the Hawks, every single team in the East other than the Knicks and Cavs. And I didn't see the hype. I could not understand for the life of me why they were put so heavily. But they were. And I think the expectations got to them. It's sort of like the Pistons. I keep comparing them to the Pistons because they have similar formats here. They add one shooter, but they lose a bunch. The Pistons lost a bunch, and they added Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, who hasn't played. And now I'm looking at the Magic, and Desmond Bane is not solving all of their issues. He had a pretty good game last night, all things considered, and still was not enough. Yeah, I think this team had expectations, and I think teams knew what to expect when going up against the Magic, so they're trying a little bit harder than they did last year. And then you look at like the Pistons, and yeah, they're locking up Cade. They're throwing like these teams can't surprise the other teams anymore. They know what to expect when they play them. And I think that, you know, the Magic are falling to that curse as well. But I mean, that's just what happens once you gain that sort of respect around the league. This begins to just, you know, snowball. The next game I wanted to talk about, it's these teams, man. It's these middle of the pack teams that we predicted to be so great. I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls remaining undefeated and defeating the Atlanta Hawks 128 to 123. Now, this game was very interesting to me because you had banger games. Like, honestly, this is the best you're going to get out of Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis, and Onyeka Okongwu. I mean, same with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been sort of ass this year. He has not been good. Getting adjusted to the system, he has not been great. The thing is about the Atlanta Hawks, they had 25 points from Jalen Johnson, 11 for 18. They had 27 points from Tingus Pingus, 11 for 17, right? And then they had 18 points from Onyeka Okongwu and 17 from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The issue last night were not them. It was their Zachary Ricochet, who did not have a good game. He shot 1 for 5. He had 2 points. Dyson Daniels, 1 for 8. His defense is still there. He had 3 steals. But his offense, I was told that Dyson Daniels was going to a most improved player this year. It's not really looking like the case. Dyson Daniels has shown us that he's athletic. He's defensive. Where's the offensive game? I don't see it. I was told that he's developed a jump shot. I was told that he's not going to be a liability on offense. And what I'm seeing is none of that. The complete opposite. And then Trae Young had his worst game of the season, shooting 7 for 22. He still had 21 points. He shot 1 for 10 from deep. I thought last year was a bad shooting season for Trae Young. It was his worst, I think, of his career. And I thought this year he would bounce back and shoot lights out from deep. That has not been the case. 7 for 22 and 1 for 10. Luke Kennard was good, 2 for 2 off the bench. Like I said, NAW was good. Okongwu was good. They got a lot of help from Mohamed. What is it? Gay? Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The Atlanta Hawks are looking like a play-in team. It doesn't make any sense. As we all know, Trae Young did not get his contract extension, right? And we all can sort of predict that if this isn't the season, then Trae Young, we doubt he's going to pick up his player option. He'll make more money signing with another team. If the Hawks didn't extend them, he will make more money by leaving. This is the last year for the Atlanta Hawks. I know it's just a few games into the season. And I don't think it's time to panic yet if you're a Hawks fan. I think this team will work itself out. It's sort of like the Magic and the Pistons. You know, not only did I have them in the same range of the seedings, but I expect the Hawks to start clicking a little bit better, as well as the Magic. Toronto Raptors, I don't really, you know, it's difficult. I feel like this is what we're going to see from the Raptors all year. The Atlanta Hawks do have a lot of potential. They just need to ink out the chemistry with this team. They're getting a lot of assists. Trae Young had 17 assists. Let's not forget that. He had 21 points and 17 assists. I want to give credit where credit is due. He's one of the best playmakers in the league, and he proved that last year by leading the league in assists. My issue with Trae Young is, like, last year he wasn't aggressive offensively, and now he's trying to be aggressive offensively with scoring. but it's not working out. He's not shooting at a high clip. He's shooting at his lowest percentage of his career from 2 and 3. I thought this team was going to be nasty defensively. They haven't been. I thought this team was going to be nasty offensively. They have been. It's just a bad night for Trae Young and Zachary Richardson and Dyson Daniels. I like that they're going to Dyson. I like that he's attempting more shots and, putting the ball. He's trying to get the ball in the basket. But at some point, you do have to realize, like, okay, we have better offensive talents. Let's keep targeting them. But that's what the defense knows. They know to just dare Dyson. He's just staying in the dunker spot almost all these games. Now, on the other side, the Chicago Bulls are... If you haven't watched the Chicago Bulls, they're a fun watch, man. I know if you're a Bulls fan, they're not really fun to watch because they get leads and they always choke away those leads, but they are looking good, man. They are looking good. Isaac Noscoro had 10 points last night, 50% shooting. Matas Buzelis had his worst game of the season. He still had 16 points. Vucci, baby. Nikola Vucevic, 7 for 11. He had 17 points and 17 rebounds. There's 2 stat lines I saw last night that nobody's talking about, and it's Nikola Vucevic and another guy I'll mention later on when we do brief recaps of all of the games. Trey Jones, 50% shooter for 14 points. Josh Giddey, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Kevin Huerter had a great game. He's having a bounce back year. He was horrible last year. 6 for 8, 15 points. Patrick Williams. I'm getting fooled by Patrick Williams again, man. I'm getting fooled because I'm buying in. 12 points, 4 for 9 shooting. Dozanmu having a great game. 21 points, 7 for 10. Jalen Smith 0 for 4 off the bench. The Chicago Bulls are a very fun team to watch. They had 16 threes last night, something that they did not do well last year. They are spreading the ball a lot, 33 assists. Something that I love seeing is Matas Buzelis showing that he has a playmaking ability as well. He only had 3 assists last night, but usually he only looks for his shot. Now he's looking for others. And honestly, it's very fun to see because this kid's going to be a star. I think he's going to be a star. Nikola Vucevic is increasing his trade value. It's not going to happen. The Chicago Bulls will never trade Nikola Vucevic. If it happens, I'll be very surprised. And Josh Giddey is proving his worth. Now, the debate about the Chicago Bulls, they're still undefeated, by the way. The debate about the Chicago Bulls was, can Josh Giddey be your number 1 guy? I don't know. I think he can be a 1B, maybe a 1A kind of guy, but he hasn't needed to be. Being next to Nikola Vucevic, having these great games, 17 points, 17 rebounds, 9 assists, almost a triple-double. Having a Matas Buzelis sort of like a safety net, like this kid can get you a bucket if you need it. Kevin Huerter off the bench. Trey Jones, he's looked okay. He hasn't been great, but he's looked okay. This team's got a lot of 1Bs and 1Cs, man. None of them I don't think yet can be a number 1. Obviously, Vucevic, we've seen him do it for over a decade now, since the Magic days. Sorry, getting a sip of my coffee. This team's been fun to watch. I highly, highly, highly recommend you tune into a Chicago Bulls game because I don't know how long this is going to last. I feel like most people see the Bulls on their schedule and they sort of think it's an off night. They don't need to try as hard. And here they are smacking these teams in their teeth. Hey, Pistons fell victim to them as well. They were down by 23 points. They brought it back. They almost stole the game. But the Chicago Bulls sealed it. The Bulls are nice, man. The Bulls are back. The Bulls are back. My favorite podcast I watch is No Dunks. Shout out No Dunks. They were the starters back on NBA TV, if you remember watching their show. And then before that, they were the Basketball Jones. They're my go-to podcast. So I know Trey Kirby on their podcast. He's a big Bulls fan. He's from Illinois. And I listen to him talk about Nikola Vucevic every day. And it's just, he's doing it. He's doing it up right now. Vucevic is having a great season. I feel like most teams are seeing the Bulls and not taking him seriously, and they're making the other team regret it. So, what's wrong with the Atlanta Hawks and what's wrong with the Chicago Bulls in a positive way? It's been a fun year, man. It's been a fun year. Honestly, this has been the best week and a half of NBA, or I guess it's only been a week. This has been the best first week of NBA basketball I personally have ever seen in my entire life. If you like offense, then you're definitely going to like the NBA this season. Now, guys, on to our next segment. We broke down the 3, I think, most important games. Before we get into the quick other game recaps, be sure, if my podcast listeners, leave a 5-star review and rating. As well, if you are on YouTube, drop a like, subscribe. It really helps out, y'all. My Twitter, Discord server, everything will be down below. It really helps out more than you can ever possibly understand. Next, let's go over some quick recaps of the rest of the games over the league. I'm not going to dive too far into the stats of these games. I'll talk about like the scoring. I'll talk about the like layout, like the storyline of these games. But I'm not going to be like breaking down the box scores or anything along those lines. Up first, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Detroit Pistons, the first game on NBC and Peacock. I can tell y'all right now, I knew the Pistons were not going to pull this one out. The Pistons they came into this game 2-1, same as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Both teams came off of a back-to-back. The Pistons had the Celtics 2 nights ago, the night before, and the Cavaliers had the Bucks the night before that as well. Obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers are seasoned. They are championship contending this year. They have a lot of vets on their team. They can handle these back-to-backs better than the Pistons. On the Pistons side, I don't want to give my team an excuse. They looked absolutely horrendous last night. I can name you every excuse in the book as to why the Pistons got worked last night. So let me just rattle them off real quick. The Pistons statistically have the hardest first 6-game stretch of the season versus any other team in the NBA. The hardest beginning of their schedule. And that's just opponents wise. Now on top of that, this was their 4th game in 6 nights. 4th game in 6 nights. It explains why they all shot horribly from the field. On top of that, their star, Cade Cunningham, has been horrendous this season. 3 for 14 tonight with 12 points. That is the worst game I've personally ever seen Cade Cunningham play in his professional career. Teams are doubling and tripling him because he doesn't have that Dennis Schroeder. He doesn't have that Jaden Ivey next to him. The Pistons get Jaden Ivey here hopefully in like 3 to 4 weeks. They're missing their backup guard and Marcus Sasser, so our two-way player, Dennis Jenkins, has been taking place of the backup point guard spot, and he's been good. He's been serviceable. Karis LeVert has not played for the Pistons yet. That was my biggest weakness as to why we paid him. I know he always gets hurt, but it was sort of a scramble because, I mean, we didn't expect this offseason to go the way it happened. You know, the Pistons are really missing Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder right now. Yeah, it was a bad game. It was a bad game. I'm not going to go through the box score. Nobody shot well. Nobody shot well. Like, it's actually comedic looking at this box score. On the other side, Donovan Mitchell had 35 points, 13 for 18 shooting. Pistons had no answer. Everybody was in foul trouble for the Pistons. Asar, 4 fouls. Tobias, 5. Duran, 4. Cade, 3. Stu, 3. Ron Howland, 4. Everybody was in foul trouble for the Pistons. The Cavaliers were chilling, man. They were chilling. They dominated without Darius Garland, without Lonzo Ball. They played well. Pistons are missing 3 rotation guys. They're missing Karis LeVert, Jaden Ivey, and Marcus Sasser, a starter and 2 backups. So yeah, ugly game all around from the Pistons. Great win for the Cavs. They beat them 116-95, lost by 21. Next game we had on the slate was the Houston Rockets finally getting a win this season. Absolutely decimating the Brooklyn Nets, which I think we all could have expected. Leading scorer for the Houston Rockets was Tari Eason. He finally woke up. I know Rockets fans were worried for the first 2 games. Tari Eason looked absolutely horrible. You know, obviously he's on a contract year. The Rockets decided to extend Jabari Smith Jr. and not Tari Eason. They couldn't come to terms. And I think Reed Shepherd had his best game of the season as well. Team's looking good, man. They just got to mesh. Without having a point guard, it's really tough. I think the Rockets had 7 guys in double digits. Let's see. Reed Shepherd, 15. Tari Eason, 22. Amen Thompson, 12. His best game of the year. Aside from the first game. Josh Okogie, 10. Alfred Şengün, 21. Jabari Smith Jr., 11. And Kevin Durant, 19. He didn't even have a good night. 6 for 14 shooting, 0 for 4 from deep. He shot perfect against the Pistons. Couldn't hit a shot tonight or last night. Now, mind you, like, this is against the Brooklyn Nets. The Houston Rockets are still missing DFS and Dorian Finney-Smith, and obviously they're missing Fred VanVleet. This is just utter domination from the Houston Rockets. The Nets, I mean, what can I say about them? Terrence Mann had a good game. MPJ had a good game, and that's about it. Oh, I guess Day'Ron Sharp had a good game. Yeah, everybody else, they did not play well. Houston Rockets, really good game. They're on the win. At least they're in the win column now. Speaking of another team that is now on the win column, the Boston Celtics versus the New Orleans Pelicans. They win 122-90. The Boston Celtics just decimated in this game. Again, you have Six guys scoring double digits for the Boston Celtics. All around good game. Everybody shot pretty well. They hit 18 threes. They're always going to win. They had double the threes that the Pelicans had in 9. Yeah, this was not a fun game. Zion Williamson did not play last night, along with Kevon Looney, obviously DeJounte Murray. But yeah, the Celtics are missing Tatum. So, I mean, yeah, Celtics won. They're on the win board. They're in the win column. I saw Derek White had another off night. He's not looking the way that we all expected him to. I think we all sort of thought that Derek White would be stepping into this, to be an all-star. At least play like an all-star. Shooting 1 for 9 from deep is horrible. Peyton Pritchard was 2 for 7 from deep. All around, I mean, it was just a group effort with this team. Anthony Simons went ballistic. He had 25 points in the game high. Anthony Simons has been great off the bench. He'd be starting for a lot of teams. I don't know what Anthony Simons' career is going to look like, but he might just be a spark plug off the bench for any team in the future. He's been looking great. It's just a matter of if he can do it on a consistent end, as well as defense. He has not been great at that. So yeah, Celtics taking out the Pelicans. Up next, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They remain undefeated against the Dallas Mavericks. I think the highlight of this game is that Shea didn't have a good game. Lou Dort didn't have a good game. Cason Wallace had a horrible game. You could cut the Thunder's team in half. You could literally remove half of the roster and there'll still be a playoff team. Changed my mind on that, man. Because even though their best players had off nights, and I think they're still missing Caruso, am I right? Yeah, they're missing Caruso, J-Dub, Isaiah Joe, and Kenrich Williams. Obviously, Dallas was missing Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Dante Exum, Kyrie Irving. But still, the Thunder got it done, man. Shea had 23. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Every commentator I've been listening to is pronouncing it different. I'm saying AJ Mitchell. I've heard people say a J Mitchell. I'm going to just stick with AJ Mitchell until one of you guys correct me. So let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, man, the Thunder are just incredible. Chet Holmgren had a good game, 6 for 10, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein, 8 for 11, efficient as always, 16 points, 12 rebounds. Speaking of AJ Mitchell, 7 for 14, 0 for 4 from deep, but he had 17 points and 7 rebounds. That kid's going to be special. I don't know how the Thunder keep doing it, but they keep on doing it. As far as the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to say something that you guys might serenade with. I am so sad watching Klay Thompson. Like, I'm actually depressed watching Klay. I know, like, he's just one of the players that I grew up watching. To see him not age as gracefully as like a Steph Curry or a Durant, LeBron, it really makes me upset. Now, the main reason why is, I mean, he's just not shooting well. He wasn't shooting well after the trade of Luka last year. I feel like Luka dominated so much. He demanded so much attention offensively, that Klay had a lot of open shots. And now the Mavs without a point guard, it's just not working for Klay. I think when Kyrie comes back, Klay will get a lot more open looks. 8 points, 3 for 11 from Klay. It's just not looking great. The potential rookie of the year, Cooper Flag, had another off night. 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep. He's looking like he can just take you to the hoop. Again, this is very early in the year. He's going to have to gain some confidence. He's going to have to gain a point guard. I know Jason Kidd is running him at the point guard like Giannis Antetokounmpo, so I think there's going to be some growing pains here. I think long-term, it's smart to have Cooper Flag at the point. I think it's very, very smart to run him at point. We saw it work with Giannis, and that's what Giannis is now, 10 or 11 years later. I think it's smart using Cooper Flag this way, at least until Kyrie Irving gets back. I think when Irving gets back, you could finally see Cooper blossom into the star that he is. The issue is he might not come back until March, maybe April. And that's if they're in playoff contention. If they're not in playoff contention, they're just going to shut it down. Anthony Davis had a great game, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Cooper Flag, again, 1 for 9. D'Angelo Russell, horrible after a great game he had 3 nights ago. He shot 3 for 14. Najee Marshall, 2 for 7. He has not worked out for this team. Jaden Hardy, 4 for 9. Yeah, they did not have a good game. Max Christie played okay. I mean, for what they got out of him. PJ Washington, 5 for 10. It's not, they need Kyrie Irving. Cooper Flag has not looked like the Cooper Flag that we thought he'd look like. That's why I believe VJ Edgecombe is definitely a front runner. It's not even close right now as far as rookie of the year. I think VJ Edgecombe's running away with that thing right now. But this is a long season, y'all. This is a long season. We have 4 more games. Let's speed it up a little bit. Phoenix Suns, they lost to the Utah Jazz, courtesy of Lauri Markkanen dropping 51 points on 17 for 17 from the free throw line. Didn't miss a single one. Kyle Filipowski had a bad night, 1 for 7. Walker Kessler had a great game, 9 for 12, 25 points. Svi Mikhailuk, 4 for 8, 11 points. Keontae George had a decent game, 8 for 18, 26 points. He had 8 free throws and made them all. This team, the Utah Jazz, man, what I will say is they're a fun watch. They got great big men. Lauri Markkanen, you are a Detroit Piston. This guy's trade value is going up. If you want my honest opinion, I think they should trade. This is the time. I think in the next couple months, they really got to heavily shop Lauri Markkanen because they can get a lot for him right now. Not the draft picks are tough, but yeah, man, they're looking good. Ace Bailey, the rookie, didn't have a great game, but man, Lauri Markkanen, 51 points. Everybody's dropping 50. Everybody's dropping 40. We're going to talk about it later on. Suns, I mean, hey, Devin Booker at 34 points. He finally did what I asked him to do, and that was take shots. There's no reason, like I said, they were missing Dylan Brooks last night. And that's where a lot of their shots were coming from. What's his name? Dylan Brooks was attempting a lot of the shots for this team. More shots than Devin Booker was in the first few games. And now, here you go. Dylan Brooks is out. Devin Booker takes most of the shots. They're still missing Jalen Green, and I think their offense will open up once they get him. But yeah, great win from the Jazz. Up next, the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is the other stat line that I hinted at earlier that nobody's talking about. They're just used to it. Which is just disgusting that we're used to a stat line like this. Nikola Jokic, 9 for 10. 7 for 7 from the line. Didn't attempt a single 3 last night. He had 25 points, 10 assists, 19 rebounds. Nikola Jokic. I mean, you just keep doing it. Aaron Gordon finally cooled off, 3 for 10. Christian Brown, 3 for 9. Jamal Murray, 43 points. Tim Hardaway Jr., 20 points. This happens. I told y'all Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to have these games where he goes 7 for 11, 4 for 6 from deep, and he's going to look like the best shooter in the league. It happens. When you're next to a great player like Nikola Jokic, he's going to bring that player out of Tim Hardaway Jr. Yeah. I mean, Nikola Jokic was that good. Obviously, the Timberwolves were without Anthony Edwards last night. Jaden McDaniels did his thing with 25. Julius Randle did his thing with 24. I mean, they just got outplayed, man. They just got outplayed. That 13 threes to the Timberwolves 10. Yeah, Nikola Jokic is just that good. Cam Johnson still hasn't gotten on a roll yet, but I wouldn't be too worried about it for Nuggets fans out there. Next game, we had the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Golden State Warriors, and Golden State came out on top 131 to 118. Tell y'all what, man. I'll tell y'all what. The Golden State Warriors are still without, or they were without Al Horford tonight, is still out with DeAnthony Melton, and they still, I mean, BTA, man. They played great. Brandon Pods, right? He had 23 points. He finally had his good game of the year. Give some hope out there. Jimmy Butler is doing his consistent 20 points. Jonathan Kuminga was the player of the game last night with 25. Steph Curry, light 16 points. Not even an efficient game from him. And then Moses Moody played great off the bench with 20 points. I mean, this team is just next man up. Will Richard looks good as a rookie. Looks great as a rookie. Buddy Hield had a bad night, but it doesn't matter when you have Jonathan Kuminga dropping 25, Pods 23, Jimmy 20. Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point. They looked great. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, I mean, John Morant did his thing with 23 points, but it wasn't efficient. They just didn't look good. Man. Hopefully the Grizzlies can figure it out, but I think this is what we're going to get. John Morant's going to get his numbers. I mean, hey, man, he had a great first game of the year. He sort of reminded everybody, yeah, this is what I do. But shooting 0 for 6 from deep is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. His jumper has not improved. He can still drive to the rim at an efficient rate, but his jumper has not improved. Golden State takes that one. Last game of the night, the Trailblazers versus the Lakers. And obviously the Trailblazers took out the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, I mean, this was sort of a dominant game all around from the Blazers. I watched this game in particular because I love watching Denny Advia play, as well as Donovan Clingan. I feel like Clingan is the dream center for almost every team in the NBA. They had a great game. Caleb Love shot 2 for 10 off the bench, was not good. But Drew Holiday he almost led the pack with 24 points. When I was watching the condensed highlights, it felt like Drew Holiday wasn't missing. He shot 10 for 5, 24 points, lighting it up from deep. Denny Advia, 25 points. Great game. Donovan McClingan, 16. Shaden Sharp looked okay in the first half and then slowed down with 16 points. Jeremy Grant, efficient as always. I guess not. He missed 6 shots, but 22 points. Jeremy Grant looked great. And then for the Lakers, I mean, Austin Reeves with another 41-point game after he just dropped 50 the other night. There's just no help from anybody else, unfortunately. Vanderbilt played pretty well. Rui Hachimura, okay. DeAndre Ayton is playing really well. Jake LaRavia, 1 for 6. Austin Reeves, 13 for 22. Dalton Connect had a good game, 16 points off the bench. Nick Smith Jr. I mean, they're just not deep. This team is not deep. I mean, they're missing LeBron. They're missing Marcus Smart. They're missing Luka. They're missing Gabe Vincent, which was a late scratch off for the team. Luka should be back next week. Marcus Smart should be back next game, I think. They'll probably just wait until Luka comes back. And then Gabe Vincent, he should be back any day now. I have heard that LeBron might be delayed again for another 2 to 3 weeks until he can return. One thing about the Lakers that I could see working out really well is scoring is fine. Like Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic can both be the primary and secondary ball handlers. I hope LeBron at his age can sort of play like a super version of like a Draymond Green, you know? Like just, you don't need to bring the ball up the court, right? Like Luka and Austin Reeves can handle it. You just go do all the little things and do all the little things in a great way, play some better defense than you have in the last few years. I think the Lakers could be very scary. I mean, their offense is lethal. It's just their defense that sucks. Like, I mean, they're giving up 122 to the Trailblazers. Yeah, their defense is just horrendous. Now, that was a lot of recapping. We won't do that normally, but I don't really think there was like anything that eventful to talk about from last night. So one thing that I wanted to mention is what's going on in the NBA right now. What's going on? I want to go over the highest points scored this season, right? I just want you to hear how many names have scored more than 40 points this season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 55. Lauri Markkanen, 51. Austin Reeves, 51. Aaron Gordon, 50. Luka Doncic, 49. But mind you, Luka Doncic is averaging 46 points per game right now. Jamal Murray, 43. Tyrese Maxey, 43. Luka Doncic, 43. Stephen Curry, 42. Austin Reeves, 41. Jaylen Brown, 41. Anthony Edwards, 41. Cam Thomas, 40. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 40. Victor Wembanyama, 40. Tyrese Maxey, 40. Now, guys, I have never seen a start to the season quite like this before. Ever. In my life. I've never seen it. The point totals this season have been unbelievable. And I don't think I see it slowing down whatsoever. I just don't see it slowing down. I feel as though at this rate, this might be like one of the highest scoring seasons of all time. The reason I wanted to talk about this is to sort of show you why points are up so much. If you guys have been watching games, you would see that some of this officiating has been god awful. As a Pistons fan, it's always horrible. But I'm watching other games and it looks bad. Fouls that were called last year are being called twice. Bro, offense, I've never seen more turnovers on illegal screens ever. I've never seen this before. Shai in his game had 26 free throw attempts. Lauri Markkanen last night, 17. Austin Reeves had 22. Aaron Gordon, he was launching from deep. He only had 6 free throws. Luka Doncic had 19 free throws. Jamal Murray only had 7. Tyrese Maxey had 10. Luka Doncic had 10. Steph Curry had 8. You're noticing that the guys who got most of their points off threes have less free throws attempted. Austin Reeves had 14. Jaylen Brown had 15. Cam Thomas had 13. Giannis had 16. Wemby had 11. The trend that I'm seeing is sort of like, what's going on here? Why is scoring up so much? I got an honest answer for y'all. The defense this year has looked horrible. I feel like you can't touch anybody right now. And this is like, I'm talking way worse than last year. Everything is getting called. Hand checking is getting called like at a high rate. The games have been so slow as well, with all the challenges being used, with all of the official reviews. I feel like the NBA right now needs to get it together with all of these game stoppages. Just to mention one game in particular, the Pistons versus Rockets, that was over a 3-hour game. Over 3 hours. There's no reason a game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern and I don't get to the game isn't completed yet until 11:10 p.m. 11:10. And I feel like most people are talking about this on Twitter, and yet, like, I don't know if we're going to see it change any bit. I think what you see is what you're going to get. The scoring is up. And I don't think it's going to last much longer. I think it's the start of the season. The refs are calling these games way tighter than they normally would. I think this is not going to be a trend. I think in the next podcast, I want to do a fact or cap segment. And we're going to take all the early season projections and what we've seen. And we're going to say whether it's fact or whether it's cap or true or false, whatever I decide on the fly. But yeah, man, the NBA's really confused me right now. I don't know what we're doing. But hey, I like scoring. I think we all enjoy scoring a lot. Defense has been okay from some teams, but scoring has been just skyrocketed. It's ridiculous. I've never seen these point totals ever in my life in the first week of basketball. Now, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. This one is posting a little bit later than normal, so my apologies. I had to catch up on all the games, so that's on me. Tomorrow, we will be doing this live at 9 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be live on YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. All right? So, guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, podcast listeners, please leave 5-star reviews and ratings. And podcast watchers, viewers, be sure to leave a like and subscribe on YouTube. All of my links will be down below as far as the Twitter, Discord server, everything. The main YouTube channel, JZ Uncut. I would like to apologize as well if there has been a couple hitches throughout these podcasts. We're building a new PC and we should have it by the end of this week. So we'll get that all set up for next week's pods and it'll all be cleaned up. All right. So it's going to be the highest of high qualities. Guys, I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thanks for watching damn it, I messed it up. Thank you for watching /listening. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.